This video here is going to basically tier the different sales channels that you can implement as a B2B company. I'm going to first of all just show, generally speaking, some of the considerations that you want to have when you choose sales channels. And then also I'm going to basically show the ideal way of progressing. So what channels do you start with? What do you then, what's like the next step after you've mastered that channel, and so on and so forth. And then at the end, I'm also going to give one secret channel for more sales that a lot of people forget, but that is extremely powerful. So if we start out with the first one here, cold outreach. Now, the good thing about cold outreach is that it is very cost efficient. Now, the reason why cold email is so cost efficient is essentially because you are creating your own private distribution network. You're setting up email accounts, you're defining a target audience, and then you're sending out emails. If you're using, say, paid ads, basically what you have to do is you have to rely on the built in distribution networks that they have at Facebook or LinkedIn. And so you are basically subject to the supply and demand mechanics on those platforms. So if they have really high CPM prices, well, your cost per call and subsequently your customer acquisition cost is going to go up exponentially. But this does not happen with cold outreach, so it is very cost efficient. And this is also reported by the vast majority of people I speak to, even people who are in completely different industries than me, and they have no bias at all. They also tell me that cold outreach by far has the lowest customer acquisition cost. Now, the next good thing about cold outreach is that it has a lot of scalability. So you can scale it quite easily. You can set up more email accounts. You can send more emails. So it's kind of straightforward to scale this channel, which is, of course, a huge benefit. Another great thing is the speed at which this can work. So the time from when you launch a cold email campaign to seeing your first lead, like the first person that might actually be a buyer of what you sell, is extremely fast. And for most of our clients here at Scale Sprint, it typically takes just one day to see the first interested person after starting the campaign. The next one is time commitments. Now, cold outreach is pretty time intensive. You have to set up campaigns, you have to constantly monitor it. There's a lot of work that goes into building, but also maintaining and improving a cold email system. So it is not totally time efficient. Now, the next one here is lead quality. And the lead quality with cold outreach is generally very good. And the reason why that is the case is because you basically control the target audience completely. So you can go ahead and use AI to basically check every single person on a list to make sure that they actually fit your ideal buyer profile. And when you do that at scale, you can actually tailor your lists very specifically so you're not reaching out to people that are unqualified. If we go to paid ads next, now paid ads, for the reason I talked about just a moment ago, is not that cost efficient. You have to basically hope that your CPM prices are not too high. You want to hope that you can acquire or basically get calls at a reasonable enough price, giving your closing rates so that it makes sense for you when it comes to cash flow. So that is something that you have to take into consideration with paid ads. It's definitely bad when it comes to cost efficiency. Now, the one thing about paid ads that is extremely good is the scalability. It is very, very easy to scale. You simply just throw more money into the machine and immediately you'll see more calls. So that's the good thing about paid ads, that it is scalable. It's also very fast, like cold email, so you can start to see results very fast after launching your ads. In terms of time commitments, I would say it's a bit better than cold outreach, but I still put it at a medium. And the reason for that is the fact that you have to constantly test new ad creatives. You always have to set up new funnels and stuff like that. So there's a lot of work that goes into actually building a profitable paid ads funnel. It's really not an easy job to do, and it's time intensive. Now the lead quality is typically, I would say, medium, definitely worse than cold outreach. And that is because there are a lot of random people that use Facebook. And if, let's say you're running Facebook ads, for example, right? So you will get people that click on your ads, book a call with you, but they're completely unqualified. They have no idea who you even are. There are just people out there that just book meetings just for the sake of it. And so if you don't have a very, very strict qualification process, like a form that you send them through, well, your lead quality is going to be terrible with paid ads. And we've had a lot of people that have been running paid ads with terrible lead quality that got over to working with us, and suddenly their closing rate is higher, their show up rate is higher. And so that is simply just because paid ads, it's harder to get high quality leads with it, especially if you haven't had years of experience running paid ads for your company. The next one is organic content. Now, this is very cost efficient. In fact, it's free for the most part. You can just, you know, produce content, put it out on social media, and the algorithm can distribute it. Now, the scalability is quite bad. The only thing you can actually do here is just produce more content, which is going to take more time. So the scalability is pretty bad. There's no way to really force better results with content. It just takes a while to accumulate. The speed is very bad. So it takes a while for content to accumulate. Sometimes it can even take years to build sufficient content to the point where it gets you enough leads. And also, time commitment wise, very bad. It takes a lot of time to produce content. And the lead quality is around medium. I would say it's better than paid ads for the most part, because the people who book with you typically understand you quite a bit because they've been seeing your work. So this is not to like discredit any of these channels. I mean, what I'm doing right now is literally content, so it definitely works. But it is just one of those ones where it takes a while for it to actually work, and also you have to realize that it's very time intensive. Referrals, super cost efficient, of course, don't cost anything. Not scalable. When it comes to the speed, well, it doesn't really apply to referrals as much. But again, it's not something where you build some sort of referral network and then immediately it works, right? It sort of takes a while to acquire referrals, and then time commitment wise, it's good, and lead quality wise, generally also I would say good. Most people that refer somebody to you know that that person is interested. So this is the overview of the different sales channels. And also there's one secret channel here that people forget. I'll get to that just after this next section here, which is basically going to cover how you approach this. Like, what channel do you actually focus on first? So my opinion here, my professional opinion on this subject, is that you should start out with cold outreach. The reason why you want to start with cold outreach is because the cost efficiency, right? If you don't have a lot of cash flow, if you don't have a lot of cash to invest into ads and somebody to actually manage these ads for you, then it's not going to be sustainable. Because if there's an agency that wants to charge you $5,000 a month, and then you have to dump $10,000 of ad spend in to get enough meetings, well, that's already $15,000 a month. Very heavy commitments, and maybe it's not going to work for the first 3 months. So it's very capital intensive. So the best way is actually to master cold outreach first. Basically, get a solid foundation with a nice cold outreach system that can consistently book your meetings. And then once you start getting that nice cash flow, and now you're ready to scale, you're ready to hire and expand operations, well, then you can start playing around with paid advertising. I think this is the ideal way to go about it. Now, in the meantime, while you do these things, if you have time, you can also focus on content. This is sort of something that you can do whenever you have additional time. I would say doing content is definitely high leverage work. So it's something that you can prioritize as a founder or CEO. So this is kind of the way I recommend structuring this. Now, the one secret channel that people often forget is partnerships. So actually reaching out to people that you can partner up with. So they basically have certain clients that you can actually help, and then you can give them a percentage of whatever you charge, or you can do it like a white label solution. And this is really underrated, because you unlock one door, and behind that door, there's 5 new doors, because you partnered with this company and they're incentivized to send you business. So one way to approach this is to basically use ChatGPT or Claude or something, and then just ask it to basically give you recommendations for what sort of companies you could actually partner up with. Now it's going to come up with some recommendations, and then what you're going to do is you're going to build a cold outreach system, and you're going to start reaching out to these companies and actually pitching this idea of a partnership. And this is really, really strong. One company we worked with here at ScaleSprint, we actually helped them set up this partnership outreach funnel, and they ended up getting a 50% increase in the amount of leads for their sales team just by doing that. So it's a very powerful channel that most people forget that they can use. So that's going to be it for this video. If you want to work with a company that can set up a modern cold outreach system optimized for 2026, you can check our links below. You can see our websites, get a more detailed understanding of what we do, and then if it's interesting, you can book a call. So thanks for watching and have a good day.